Good news this morning. I've started up the engine and that epoxy does appear to have sealed that leak. There doesn't appear to be any leak now and the epoxy's set hard. So I'm feeling pretty confident. We're going to move on this morning. I'm just Tan's making a cup of tea and we're going to get going. I'm feeling unbelievably relieved. The last 2 nights haven't slept well because I'm constantly running through my head because I'm a worrywart. Constantly running through my head options, possibilities, scenarios, disasters, you know, the whole thing. You know how it is. So anyway, we're all good. So we're going to get underway and we're going to start heading west again towards Komodo, Bajo, well, Ryong first, then towards Bajo, and then Komodo, and then on through the next islands. I can't remember their names. And then to Lombok and Bali. And in Lombok, I'm hoping that I can get a new part delivered. So I'll just replace that one that's on there and maybe keep the old one as a spare, maybe, seeing as it doesn't leak now. Relief. Feeling good. Let's go enjoy Indonesia again. Now, this is the reality of cruising up in Indonesia. For us this year anyway. I kind of expected we'd have southeasterly trades up our bum most of the way and we'd be sailing every day, but the reality has been that we've been motoring. We've been motoring a lot, way more than I normally do. I guess because we need to make miles. Ultimately we're bound for Thailand, so we need to keep moving. And we've only got 60 days to pass through Indonesia, and Indonesia's huge. Yeah, it's massive. But the reality is we get out here, especially the north coast of Flores, and there's little to no wind. So we sailed for 2 hours this morning. Well, we motored for an hour and then we sailed for 2 hours into a very light breeze, probably 8 knots of wind. We were making 4 knots, which was good while we had it, but it only lasted 2 hours. Now it's dropped right out again. I've left the sails up just because they're giving us a bit of shade and they're not doing any damage, so I'll leave them up. But this is what it's been for us. I don't know whether others have had a different experience this time of year. I mean, we're now into October. I kind of expected we'd still have some southeasterlies, but no luck. Anyway, this is life in cruising north coast of Indonesia. If you're new to the channel, you probably don't know yet. Those who've been hanging around for a little while know that I love this boat. And I love the way it sails. She's a Beneteau 473. She's old, she's about 20 years old, but sails like just a witch. We're going to windward in very light air here at the moment. I've got 6 knots of apparent wind over the deck, of which I'm making some of that. And yet I'm still making 2.8 knots over the ground, and there's no real tidal movement here at the moment. So we're making, you know, almost 3 knots into 6 knots of wind. And we're making some of that wind just by moving forward. So I've got to set very hard on the wind. A little bit of twist in the main, but she just sits in that little groove, you know, and off she goes. Beautiful sailboat. I love sailing her. And there's the water just trickling by at around 3 knots, which is suitable for us at the moment. I'll take 3 miles whenever I can get them, and we've had to do way too much motoring because of light airs around here, but at least I've got something now and I'm making use of it. We've been sailing for maybe the last 2 or 3 hours in these light conditions, so we are making ground. Yeah. Anyway, still 3-4 hours out of our anchorage. I'll end up having to start the engine. I won't have a choice because this wind historically will drop right out and we'll be left with nothing probably pretty soon actually. Anyway, we'll use the motor when we have to and we'll sail when we can. So we're using Google Earth to do this entrance here as the sea map's been proven to be inaccurate, or on the Ray Marine chart plotter anyway. And I got Tan up the front doing the anchor watch. She's looking for reef. We've got reef on our port side. and I know we've got reef coming up on our starboard side as well. So we're just going to take this narrow entrance here, wind our way down. It's a bit like a fjord or something like what you guys in Sydney would be kind of used to around Pittwater. Anyway, we're going to find our way down inside there. Well, it's quite a narrow entrance to come into Ciendah Bay, and the light wasn't great this afternoon, so it was difficult to see the reef edges, but using Google Earth, the charts were a little bit out, and our eyeball from the bow, yeah, we managed it. It was quite tight though. I would like better light next time. But this is Ciendah Bay on Flores Island. It's absolutely glass out in here. It's like being in a marina. Good morning, beautiful.
Good morning. Good morning.
Time to go.
Oh yes.
So we go from Ciendah Bay today, and we head to the next place further west. I can't remember the name.
Oh, difficult to remember.
Yeah. We're heading towards Barjo still. We won't be there tonight, but we'll be there tomorrow. So, and we need to refuel. I've just refueled the tanks. We're back up to 100%, and I've still got about 15 litres in reserve. So you've got plenty of fuel to get there, but we do need to refuel when we get to Barjo. In the meantime, this anchorage here at Ciendah was absolute glass out last night. You'd expect that because it's basically landlocked on almost 360 degrees. So, you know, it's a very sheltered anchorage. Definitely worth a visit, but there's not much to do here. There's no beach, nothing like that, but it's still a beautiful spot. All right, we're going to get underway. As we're exiting out of Ciendah Bay, I'm using Google Earth to track the edges of the reef, using the charts for reference and using the sounder to make sure I'm not touching the edge. It's quite close here, very narrow. I've got tarn up on the bow just looking for reef, although again the water's murky, so it's not clear exactly where it is, but if we try to follow, you know, roughly where we came in yesterday, I didn't keep a track, but it should be straightforward, you know. It's just, I don't like being this close to reef. These spider boats are pretty amazing contraptions. When I first saw them, I thought they were a sailing schooner, but I think the rig is just to hold lights. But they're pretty cool. Have a look at this. We found a tiny bit of wind. We got 6.5 knots. 6.1 knots exactly, yeah, give or take. But we're getting it on a reach right on our 90 degrees off our port side beam, which is giving us about 2.5 over the ground. So I'll live with that. We've got all day to make 30 miles, so I reckon we'll make as much of this as we can under sail, which suits me better. Suits Tarn better. She doesn't like the smell of the diesel. So we're just going to meander along. 2.5 knots, but we'll get there. It's only 30 miles. Got everything eased right out as far as I can. Just trying to get as much belly as I can into the sails. In light air you want as much belly as you can get. In the heavier wind you want them as flat as you can get, or flatter. I might see if I can get some more belly in that main just to help us out a little bit. I can do that. Might as well talk about the technicals, eh? I can do that by using the traveller. So the traveller's in the centre of the boat right now, but what I can do is I can move the traveller to windward, in this case our port side, and then I can ease the main sheet back out again. And what that will do is increase this length between the boom and where the traveller is located, but the boom relative to the boat will remain in the same position, but that'll allow the boom to rise, which creates belly in the sail. Don't know if that makes sense, but I'm going to put it in. Yeah, give it. In light air you want as much belly as you can get. So today for lunch, Tarn's whipped up some tom yum pla. Tom yum's is like a sour, salty soup, and pla is the yellowfin tuna we caught a week ago, something like that. So we're having tom yum pla. She's still down there preparing. but she'll be ready soon. We're actually getting a little bit of a sail now too. We're getting a somewhere between a reach and a broad reach. Getting about 8 knots of wind, which is giving us 4.5 over the ground towards our destination, which is nice. Plan is to come in and anchor here tonight and then go to Bajo tomorrow, which is like a main centre. I'd like to go on all the way to Bajo, but this wind won't hold out, so we'll just use it while we can. Beautiful bit of sailing though. Love this downwind stuff. There's Tan laying out a gorgeous lunch. Gotta love having a Thai wife. Oh yeah. Thank you, sweetheart. We're having a cracking little sail now. We've got about 8 or 9 knots on a reach, which is giving us a good 5 knots through the water. And yeah, really great little sail. Calm water. Beautiful. I kind of wanted to keep going to Bajo, but to get to the next anchorage before dark would be just a mission. I think we're better off just stopping here. It's only lunchtime and we'll be anchored there by probably 1:30 in the afternoon, which is early for us. But the alternative is to continue on another 30 miles, which will bring us up to around 6:30, 7:30 tonight, and then entering a complex little harbour that is. In the dark there'll be fishing boats everywhere, there'll be everything unlit, it'll be just a nightmare. And there's the point we're going to zip around the inside of and anchor pretty much where the little white cross is, the little cursor. Plan is to go and anchor in there.
Banana. Banana.
Good, good, good. Thailand, good.
Australia,
Australia.
Thailand.
Thailand. Terima kasih.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There you go on.
Gimana, Bino?
Hi guys, I'm from Flores Island and we are in Manggarai Timur, Lambaleda Dampek. This is Sud, Dampek Beach. Yeah.
Everybody happy.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yes. Here.
In there?
Yeah, in there, yes.
Wow. I like sunset.
In sunrise from there.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
There. And then yes.
Ooh.
Again. It's very good.
It's amazing. Wow, I like.
A golden sunset maybe. Yes.